Arvo Pärt is a so-called serious composer who in a very sensitive way has got a whole battle of this century inside him. He started writing in what's called the 12-tone system, and then went almost silent for almost a decade. And then coming out with a completely new style, started with complete purity. So that each note was so much more, again, about not being structure or complexities, but more each note being so lush, so to make it resonate in its fullest sense, that you didn't need 500 billion notes, you know. So I guess he's one of the minimalists of the later century. Arvo Pärt was born in Estonia and lives now in Berlin. I like your music very, very much. You give space to the listener. You can go inside and just live there. A lot of music in the past centuries, you just have to sit and listen.
Maybe it's because I need space for myself, even when I'm working. I think sound is a very interesting phenomenon. Why do people like and are so influenced by music? We don't know how strong music influences us, good or bad. You can kill people with sound, and if you can kill, then maybe there's this sound that is something opposite of killing. Yeah. And the distance between these 2 points is very big. Yeah. And you are free. You can choose. In art, everything is possible, but everything that's made is not necessary.
There's question and answer, the different voices in your music. It's almost like Pinocchio and the little cricket. One is like human and always making mistake or pain or making pain to other, while the little cricket is more of comfort to him and always telling him, you know. Now remember, Pinocchio, be a good boy and always let your conscience be your guide.
Oh, I almost forgot about you. Maybe you and I can have a little heart-to-heart.
Why?
You want to be a real boy, don't you?
Uh-huh.
Sit down, son. Now you see, the world is filled with temptations.
Temptations?
Yep, temptations. They're the wrong thing that may seem right at the time. But even though the right thing can be wrong sometimes, Sometimes the wrong thing could be the right thing at the wrong time. And vice versa. You understand?
But I want to do right.
Attaboy, Pinocchio. And I'm gonna help you. Whenever you need me, you know, just whistle. Like this. Now you try.
Like this?
No, Pinocchio. Try it again.
Like this?
No, silly. Like this. Try it.
Like this?
Attaboy, Pinocchio. Now let's sing it. When you get in trouble and you don't know right from wrong, give a little whistle. Give a little whistle. When you meet temptation and the urge is very strong, give a little whistle.
Give a little whistle.
Do you hear this in your music? Or maybe I imagine. I like the way that you talk about it. It's really so. This new style, it consists two ways, two sides, so that one side is
This is how I imagine music.
my sins, and another line is forgiveness of the sins. Mostly the music has two voices.
It's
Like food.
like a field of grain.
One line is more complicated and seductive, while another line is simple, clear, and objective.
100,
1,000,
million,
billion,
1,
2.
3.
I'm ready.
Music is like friend,
Understanding,
empathetic,
forgiving,
comforting,
a towel to dry my tears of sadness,
a source of tears, of happiness,
liberation and flight.
but
Also, painful,
in flesh and soul.
even if I lose everything.
But Pinocchio is a good thing. Sometimes I don't know when I'm composing. My wife always knows better. When we're eating, she'll say to me, "Are you composing or are you eating?"
When I was little, we used to eat tomatoes with sugar. You ever heard of it?
As far as I know, one can only eat tomatoes with salt.
We ate it with sugar.
This is a job, but this is life. There is no difference between family, children, and composition, because the compositions are also my children. I love them in different and in the same way.
Part of the brilliance Arvo Pärt has in his compositions is that he writes silences. So the conductor must respect the space before and after the musicians have played. And that's like a good actor, aware of the inner movement and stillness. When you move outwardly, the line continues.
Arvo's works have previously been described as one big prayer. The texts are the main thing, the basic material, as they were from which they set out. And they are not just prayers, but wonderful and interesting stories with a beautiful moral.
Arvo Pärt has his own unique language. Not a single word in his score is random. It's like a magic language. Because he's not trying to see himself important. He's not trying to impose himself on us. But he's a man on a quest. Part of the brilliance Arvo Pärt has in his compositions is that
Arvo's
he
works
writes
have previously been described as one big
Arvo Pärt
prayer.
has his own and after.
The texts are the main thing, the basic material, as they were from which they set out.
When you move
And
out,
they're not just
he's
prayers,
important.
but wonderful and
He's not trying
interesting
to impose
stories
himself on us.
with a beautiful moral.
But he's a man on a quest. Part of the brilliance Arvo Pärt have
Arvo's works are previously been described as one big prayer. The text are the main thing, basic material, as they were for which they set out. And they are not just prayers,
He's not
but
trying to
wonderful
find
wisdom
something.
stories.
He's
with
not
a
trying to
beautiful
impose
moral.
himself on us, but he's a man on a quest.
Part of the brilliance Arvo Pärt
Arvo's
has
works
is
have previously been described as one big prayer. The texts are the main thing, the basic material, as they were for which they set out.
He's not trying to see himself.
And they're not just prayers,
He's not trying
but
to
wonderful
impose
and beautiful
himself on us.
stories with
But
a
he's a
beautiful
man
moral.
on quest.
I once had a chat with a janitor in front of my house. I was waiting for the trolley bus. It was cold. He was working and was warm, but I was freezing. I asked his opinion. How do you think a composer should write his music? He looked at me. What a question! I think he must love each single sound. Love each sound. I had never heard anything like that. Love each sound. This is the way a composer must understand music. This knowledge opens an entire new world. How we get that understanding, that's probably a secret, which requires much work. But if you know it, then you can know what it's all about.
He really, truly believes in a divine state, a place of pure ecstasy. Most of us achieve it by falling madly in love, or whatever you do to reach it. But the brilliance of his music, it's not how you get there, or why, or whatever. It's universal, you know? It's for everyone.